13,500 hours. That is about how many hours students, at least in my school district, would be in school from half-day kindergarten through the day they graduate their senior year. 13,500 hours. After 19 years in education, I quit. I resigned. I was broken. You're going to hear more of those stories, but not in this video. I am now really excited about what I'm doing. So who am I and why am I talking to you about 13,500 hours? My name is Tara Lynn Haley. I have a lot of experience, personal experience and professional experience. I have a master's degree in learning and technology that I got in 2021. It seems so outdated right now. And I have a curriculum and instruction degree, a master's of science. I have tons of certifications, just a couple listed. I'm a certified life coach. I am trained in trauma therapy, urban education, digital literacy, media literacy, yoga, mindfulness. I have lots of avid training. I'm bringing all of this professional experience to the table, but also personally, I'm a child of divorce. I have gone through my own divorce. I've been a single mom for almost 10 years. I have raised two boys, and we have had times where we only ate macaroni and cheese and top ramen. Yet we now own a home. We have a mortgage, and they're doing well. We have two cars, and I've learned how to budget on a teacher's salary and a single mom income. So I'm excited about my future. I took out some loans so that I could get my doctorate. I don't want to market to the world and be on YouTube and on Instagram and on social media trying to get you to give me your money. I want to learn. I want to engage with AI, with technology, with connection, with why our students are feeling so disconnected and anxious and stressed. And so I took a year. I'm going to be doing this for a year. There is an initiative in Idaho. That's where I live. That's where my main focus is, although I do believe that this is a global problem. And what is the problem? The problem is we have AI and technology growing exponentially, and we live in a divisive world, a polarized world. There's disconnection, there's uncertainty, there's a lot of problem. My own son was really upset the other day as a senior because the things that he thought that he would be doing in college seem pointless, his words. So if that's the problem, I have been doing a lot of research both with my doctoral studies and just on my own. I don't have any negative things to say about our leaders, about people in leadership positions, about the teachers that I've worked with, the administrators, the principals. I broke in May. I really, really collapsed, and I had asked for help from so many different people. The counselors didn't know how to help me, social workers, principals. No one knew because we are in a system where everyone's depleted and everyone is giving their all. There's leaders like Brad Little, Debbie Critchfield, our superintendent in Idaho, Diane Temple from the Idaho Technology Council, Jeff Simmons, the superintendent of Idaho Digital Learning Alliance. We have tons of people out there that are really trying hard to bring positive education to our teachers. But here's the thing that I know, our teachers are overwhelmed. I've been there. So going back to what's being done, we have Idaho Digital Learning Alliance. My son is right now taking 3 classes at school in person and 3 classes at home. His introverted self is thriving because he gets to have a break from all of the people. But he just had an assignment where he has to do video or pictures showing that he created this crime scene for his forensic science class that he's excited about, and he just wants to give up. He doesn't know anything about creating video or what to do with that, and it seems exhausting to him, even though he's very excited about taking the class. So the digital literacy aspect, there's definitely a gap. The Department of Education is demanding that there's a digital literacy class in education. They're hoping to provide funding for it. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But there are incentives for teachers to participate in it. For computational thinking is a phrase that they're using now. There are incentives and there are programs that are pushing out to get kids access and interested and engaged in AI and current technology. There are technology programs. Department of Education specifically highlights the Create Idaho through Adobe, the Brain Buffet, and the Certipoint. Also coding in Minecraft. My son did, both of my boys, I believe, participated in that program. And then the Idaho Technology Council is just one of many other opportunities that are out there that are trying to give grants and entice students to be a part of semiconductor programs and other programs that educate them on current technology. There have been funds dedicated towards technology and technological education. For example, 5.5 million has been designated for the career and technical education in Idaho. There's a CTE program in the Boise School District, for example, with a dedicated building that students can go and participate in anything from learning about how to be a firefighter or a nurse to computerized technology classes. So there are funds available, and it has increased, I believe, 18.7% just in the last year. IDLA is the Idaho Digital Learning Alliance, where my son is attending right now. They have been designated $21 million for this school year. However, that's being questioned, and there are some restrictions, upcoming restrictions possibly, and directives to make sure that the funding is going in the right place. But there is funding for that. Except for K-12 schools, though, Governor Little just said recently that we are going to have to cut across the board 3% of funding. And based on what the Department of Education has been saying, $1.6 million will go to digital content curriculum appropriations, but that still isn't enough. And I don't know if I can't find specifics on what that includes, besides there just being a class and teachers creating the class. I've been a part of those standards and curriculum creations, and it's from the ground up with a lot of unknowns, and we're creating a lot of standards, but do we really know what we're doing as teachers? So the U.S. Department of Education froze $6.8 billion coming into Idaho. It's a lot of money, and a huge chunk of that was probably going to go towards us teaching kids about technology. Technology is expensive. The digital access for all Idahoans, that was something that was done through the Library Coalition, and all of that got frozen. There's zero money coming into something that was specifically designed to connect kids and technology. So Idaho's initiative is definitely to educate youth on technology, AI, and digital citizenship. Timeline, as soon as possible. They're trying to get it out there. We are helping teachers. I've been to conferences and meetings, and we've had everything from building meetings all the way to statewide meetings. Everyone's talking about it and doing their best. For example, there's a planning guide for AI that IDLA is using. There's 8 different parts of it, including ethics and professional learning and how students use it. And it is very much directed towards how to get students using the tools right now. So they are trying to have online and in-person meetings. They're embracing these future ideas, and they're acknowledging that there are challenges. But here's my biggest struggle. These are the challenges right now. They're restricting access. Right now, my boys go to school and their Chromebooks, which is the only device that they're allowed to use, are so restricted that it is incredibly frustrating for them to do any research because so many websites and tools are blocked. There's information overload for students, for teachers, for educators, for administrators. AI is developing at an exponential rate, just like technology, and we don't even know how to use it, let alone teach it as teachers. I was a part of the financial literacy class that was implemented. We created standards for 2 years, and then it just got taken away. And we were still feeling like babies when we were trying to teach this, just because we are in information overload. I went to so many trainings and looked at CapEd Credit Union, ICCU Credit Union, so many different tools and resources, and every single one of them felt like information overload. I think it's the same thing with AI and technology. Also, AI and technology is disconnecting all of us. We might be collaborating on how to teach it, but as far as when students start to use it, they hyper focus on their device, especially as a product of COVID-19 and all of the digital learning that we were doing there. The tool for collaboration is being challenged for sure. And we don't know how to teach kids to collaborate using AI, and we don't know how to get them to help themselves to collaborate, especially in a world where teens don't initiate collaboration often. They're looking for the adults to entice or encourage them to go out and be with their friends, more than at least in my age, and that's from personal experience. So this is my new initiative. I believe that we should build real human connection. That should be the first priority. Not technology, not AI. We should build real human connection while teaching digital citizenship and literacy by integrating systems that help students lead the way, systems to use AI and technology as a tool for learning and connection in Idaho and in the United States and across the globe. Why do I say that? First, what do we know about teens? If you have a teenager, or if you've ever dealt with teenagers and younger kids, one of the first things that they do is challenge authority and question. They're supposed to. It's part of their DNA. If they didn't do that, they'd probably be living with us until we're 60. But my oldest, if I tell him no, his innate reaction is to either question why, respectfully, or to consider going against the rules and regulations just because I said it and I'm an authority figure. He is very bright and respectful, but he's not going to do something just because somebody tells him. If we're restricting kids in the classroom and we're telling them that they need to learn AI and technology, and then they're telling them that AI and technology might take over a lot of the jobs that are out there, they feel disconnected and disinterested in some of the things that they used to be excited about in the past. We also know that our teenagers have come from a pandemic world. So they have hyper-focused on technology, esports, just gaming, YouTube, all of that has exploded, Instagram, phones. So we see teenagers walking around looking at their phones sometimes as they're walking down the street, just talking with their friends, but they're using their phones at the same time. My boys and I went to a restaurant recently. We were having fun talking. We bring games when we go out to dinner. And we put our phones away. At one point, my son said, "Mom, look around." And we did. And at every single table, including the ones with little toddlers, all of them had their phones out at a restaurant. Some of them were talking and laughing, but at every single table, there was at least someone on a device. That's the world we live in right now. So how are you going to have teens that want to go against authority, who feel disconnected and disinterested, unmotivated, and possibly just uncertain about their future, and who are used to being in the habit of being on phones and devices all day? So the current research says, tons of research. I pulled one to talk to you about from in Abu Dhabi. They did a research study on what habits create happiness. What things do humans do to create happiness? It's a fantastic study, and what they found was that human habits, help humans be happy. So they specifically talked about the self-perfection, the perception, metacognition, understanding their thinking about thinking, presence, gratitude, being able to just understand themselves and how they interact with others, consumption awareness, like what foods are good for them, what foods and beverages are good for them, and why they would eat it and how it makes them feel and how it interacts with their body. physiological awareness in that sense, but also physiological awareness in like exercise and sleep and those habits and how it affects them. And also psychological awareness. What makes someone feel joy? What makes someone get excited? And being able to interact with yourself and your mental health, psychological health, all of those physical health components. Habits were key for happiness. So data, statistics, research is showing that time and again. So here, I am here. I quit my job. I'm getting my doctorate. I took down my website. Yes, I took down my website. I get to be a part of a cohort with Boise State University's incubator with entrepreneurs, and I am ready to learn. I am not going to post things asking for your money. Soon, I would like to develop content creations and systems that you can purchase, that you can embed directly into your classroom, homeschool environment that help you integrate connection and technology and AI. But right now, I need to learn. So I'm upping my game instead of just going with my master's degree in learning and technology. I'm learning everything new. And I'm going back to the systems that are battle tested. I work with neurodivergent learners, neurodiverse learners. I've worked with international baccalaureate learners. I've worked with normal learners who have the same capacity as the quote unquote average student. And my systems were working in my classroom. They worked. And I can't wait to show you, but I want to make sure that I've got the most current AI, the most current technology, so I can be an expert in those fields so that I'm not worried if it's going to work with the newest technology. You're not worried if it's going to work with the newest technology. And we can all be ready to teach our students how to integrate AI and technology with human connection being the priority. So I'm looking forward to launching my website in September 2025 and teaching you what I'm learning through all of these different avenues. And I hope to see you in the future.